Today I want to go ahead and show you how to create a really cool dreamy effect on your photographs in Lightroom. So real quick on the story behind this photograph, I was up on Kebler Pass this fall in Colorado, and it's a great place to go to if you happen to come to Colorado for the fall time. And this was around, of course, late September, and I was hiking through the trees here. And while taking a nice break under the sun and everything, the leaves would slowly be falling with each gust of wind, and they started kind of filling the branches around me. So what I ended up doing is I put on my wide angle lens on my camera, and let me show you the settings I used here. So to take this shot, I set my camera at 1/80th of a second. I had no filters on my lens either, and I had the aperture set at f10. ISO was 100. And I was using my 14mm wide angle lens. So let's go ahead and let me give you the before and after here. And I did shoot this in RAW format. So you can see here, the photograph looks a lot darker, but it's also a lot sharper on this side than over here. You can notice it has a nicer soft effect to it. So let me zoom out. Now let's go ahead and I'm gonna actually hit the reset button. We're gonna start from scratch on this. Okay, so the first things I always like to do on this one is I'm going to take my highlights down just a little bit. So let's go about 55. I'm just trying to bring a little bit more of the blue in the background. And let me pull up my shadows. And I'm going to hold my Option key down on my Mac, which is your Alt key on Windows. And I'm going to pull my whites over to the right a little bit, just to kind of make them pop. So I'm going to go about 20. And let me pull my blacks down to about -13. And I do want to bring my exposure up on this shot because I did underexpose it just a little bit. Now before I make the picture get that soft effect, I'm going to come down and just bring out the colors real quick here. So let me come on down under the tab. It says HSL and color, and I want to be under saturation. And I know I have a lot of really cool gold yellow colors in here, so I'm just going to go through each one of these and just slowly adjust them. And as I'm adjusting them, I'm looking at the photograph at the same time. And I definitely want to bump up my yellows big time to really show what the colors are like there. Pull up my greens, run a little bit of blue here. Now one thing I do notice, I do have a little lens flare going on here, so let me zoom in on it so you can see what I'm talking about. As you can see right here, to fix that, I'm just going to come up here to this tool right here. It's your second tool to the right. Click on it once. I'm going to scroll on over and I'm going to use the wheel on my mouse just to kind of go right over the top. I'm going to click on it, and then I'm going to grab this and kind of line up the tree. Try to make it look halfway decent here. Once I feel pretty good about that, I'm going to hit my Enter key. Then let's hit Done. Okay, let me click once to zoom back out. Now what I want to do is come down, and here's some cool tricks. Under Clarity, I want to actually bring the clarity down. And what this is going to do is really soften the picture up. It just gives it a really cool effect. So let me go to -75 just to really soften it up. And then dehaze, I'm going to just pop this up to about a +8. Now the vibrance, you can actually bring the colors out even a little bit more. And let me just bump up the saturation. And then the one last thing I'm going to do just to really make this pop a little better is let me hit the brush. I'm going to make sure I hit my Option key to where it says Effect. Once I hit my Option, which is your Alt key, it's going to say Reset. Just make sure you hit that button. Let me take the exposure up a little bit. So let's try about 35. Now I'm going to left click and I'm just going to paint kind of around the edges here. And then I'm going to paint this tree a little bit just to kind of make it pop. And then I'm going to come back over and pull the exposure up. So you can see it's going to kind of lighten up that area. And then just to make the picture pop just a hair more, let me just come on down. I'm going to scroll down to the Effects tab here. So if you just click that little tab right there that says Effects, and I'm going to just take this down to about a -7. What I'm doing here is I'm just kind of creating a light border around the photograph here. And then I think I'm going to do is just pull up the exposure just a hair more. And I'm going to call that pretty good right there. So anyways, I hope this helped you out, and if it did, definitely hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet, and please share this video with anybody you think this could help them out. We'll catch you guys on the next video.